Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk of the Tundra, your Green Bay Packers podcast that is a proud partner of the Eurostep Podcast Network and the Blue Wire family. As always, I am your host, Numac. Joining me today to talk about the better but not good and sloppy preseason game against the Colts is my lovely co-host, Jordan Chesky. Jordan, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Better to be talking about the Packers this week than it was last week.
Yeah, this will be a more fun conversation than talk about whatever the hell last week was.
Yeah, even with some caveats of things that portend danger.
Yeah, I think let's start with the bad.
Danger.
Yeah, the bad. Uh, Going chronological order this week. Jordan Love has surgery on his injured thumb that he injured against the Jets last week, banging it against a helmet. Uh,
It was definitely on that sack.
sure
It
was.
was definitely on that sack.
Yep.
Don't do it. It's August. Don't do too much.
Yeah.
That is what preseason's about.
Exactly. And so has surgery. He's out. He was out this week. They anticipate him practicing this coming week, and I would assume they most likely hold him out of the third game. But I could also see a reality in which they have him play so that he can get reps with the starters in game scenarios again. Like I think it's a toss up of whether or not he plays, even though I would hope that they don't play him just for injury concern and everything else. So
Yeah.
um, you had kind of mentioned that the vibes at training camp were bad. I think that's kind of like where we're at right now with all the injuries, considering like Matthew Golden is the only non-injured like starting receiver.
Functioning wide receiver that is a lock to make the team.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Not great. Yeah, it was just not a good. It just felt like it came out of the blue because it was very. Sorry, excuse me. Following practice tidbits from the Packers beat writers, it was just like, oh yeah, he's wearing this wrap on his uh, non-throwing hand, so his left hand, on Monday, and it was there like they took him out, or he had a long conversation after like whatever 2 hour practice window that they had for open practice. It was like, huh, that's interesting. And then of course the next day it comes out he's having surgery on his left hand, on his thumb, and it's enough of a procedure that they can clean up pretty quickly, but it's also like, what are we, 21? We're 3 weeks from the start of the NFL season
Yep.
as we record. So not great. It's not great at all. Like I get it. Like he can do pretty much everything. It's not like it's a lower leg injury where he's kind of immobile or like has to get back into working like playing speed and all that stuff. But it's a quarterback. It's your quarterback. Even if he can throw the football, like they showed him, um, there's some videos on this from like way up top where the writers were for the Colts game. And you see him practicing throws, and he's only throwing one handed because his cast is so like immobilized. So you're just like, oh, like I get it, like that comes with like protective devices and everything. But
Right.
it is just like,
He's not a linebacker where he can play at the club.
no, you can't. And like, yeah, it's a non-throwing hand, but it's also like it I don't know, snapping the ball. Like, how are you gonna snap the ball?
Yeah.
Like, all these things that just I'm like, this is not great.
Yeah.
So,
Receiving the snap, ball security, big thing. Like you got to hold it with two hands when you're in the pockets. You don't.
which is something that is kind of his Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Not to bring up another body part.
Yeah. But the good news is that uh, Jordan Love said like in like the post practice scrum, I think Thursday or Friday or Wednesday or Thursday, that if it was the regular season, they probably wouldn't have had surgery. But
Yeah.
the idea just to get it cleaned up, be 100% healthy going the season is the goal. So that's encouraging. It's just that with the state of the receiver room, and like he's had plenty of like reps with these guys in previous seasons, like Dobbs and Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave and Jaden Reed. and Dante Wick said he's had these reps with them, so like he kind of knows. But it's still nice to like shake off the rust for everybody involved. And it's
Yeah.
just not that if you'd have been practicing, he'd have been throwing those guys anyway. But like at the very least, you if you're not going to get reps with those receivers, get reps with Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, Matthew Golden, insert receiver here that's will be on the team to start the season because
I mean,
who knows what's going
insert
on.
receiver here might be the sixth wide receiver on this roster
Like,
at this
yeah,
point.
Julian Hicks or Cornelius Johnson or whomever, but not concerned. Just like a bit of a damper on the
Yes.
process getting to the season.
On a scale, we're not an ESPN Milwaukee host saying that he's injury prone by any means.
No,
But on a scale of 1 to 10, I would maybe rate it as like a 3.
yeah, I'd say it's about right. A three is probably an accurate representation of my concern.
Yeah.
So moving from one, before we go on, we didn't see him in the game. Joint practices. That clip of Matthew Golden cooking
Oh yeah.
Charvarius Ward, amazing, amazing. I'm so excited for him as a wide receiver.
He's gonna be good. He's gonna be good.
It kind of makes sense why they took the reach on Golden when they haven't done it in so long. Like, say what you want to say, me included, about Mark Murphy telling Goody he has to draft wide receiver in his final season as
This
GM.
hasn't happened in 23
Right.
years.
Like, say what you will about that narrative, which, like, I fully subscribe to, obviously, because it's just funny. But seemingly they found a pretty good receiver whose hands are quite good. You knock on some wood, but
And as we're talking about, hands are very important to the game of football. So,
yes, they are.
and the position that he plays.
Yeah. So no, I'm very excited to see him in action. Um, I would really love to see him getting his first game action with other starting receivers, because like I do worry that if it is like Matthew Golden, Julian
Oh, like going into
Hicks,
week
and
one.
Malik Heath, that the passing game will look pretty bad just because if who do they play week one? The Lions.
Lions.
They're gonna throw their best corners and like just make sure that he has no impact on the game if he to the, as much as they can. You know what I mean?
To be
Because like
fair, the Lions have, I think, already lost one of their corners with Ennis Rakestraw
yes,
in
yep,
camp.
yeah, he went down on season-ending IR. I'm pretty sure. So, but still, like that's the idea is that you don't want to put a rookie, and if he overcomes it, that's just gravy.
Yeah.
But I would rather him be like wide receiver 2 or 3 right now for the sole purpose of like I don't need him getting matched up against the
Easing into, yeah.
easing into the season.
He very well, I mean, this might be, we're getting ahead of ourselves. He very well might be wide receiver one by the end of the year.
Oh, for sure.
But
Like there's that
you want it
opportunity.
to be done on merit, not that there's no one else available.
Well, you also want it to like be done hopefully as easy as it can be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
of course, I want him to face struggles so he gets better because he has potential to be a good receiver. But like,
Yeah.
I don't want him thrown into the fire week one for the sole purpose of he has to do it because of injury concerns. That's what I'm saying. In that like, I want him to be alongside Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft and Romeo Dobbs and Dontayvon Wicks because they're also weapons if they catch the ball, and that allows Matthew Golden to take some of that burden off of his shoulders. Should it
Yeah.
come to that, which I'm hoping it
Yeah.
doesn't, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So, alrighty, moving on to the game. I think the biggest story in this game, besides like the sloppiness, which we'll get to in a moment, but is the heavy presence of Marshawn Lloyd. They like solely featured him through the first quarter and a half or however long it was before he got hurt.
I think the first 3 drives
Yeah,
he played.
yeah, like he had a lot of touches this game. He finishes the game with um 6 carries for 15 yards and had the one catch if I can find it. Yeah, the one catch for 33 yards. But it felt like he was also targeted 4 times and only had that one catch. But I don't think all 3 other targets were his necessarily his fault. Um, I don't think it's insignificant that they're trying to see what they have in him because I think at some point I forget who it was on Packers Twitter, but they're like, Marshawn Lloyd plays football today. Pray to whatever God you have that he doesn't get injured, and we get to like actually see him. And sure enough, on the huge, awesome play, the catch for 33 yards down the sideline on what I think was a wheel route, he gets tackled funny and has a hamstring strain. And like
Yeah.
they didn't like talk about it that in the moment on the Packers broadcast, but like when I was watching, I was like, that's not the gait of a person getting up who feels 100% okay. Like you could tell he was feeling that tackle, and then sure enough, hamstring strain doesn't play the rest of the game.
No, and I know some of the shout out to the GSPN folks in the Discord. Um, some of our favorite people. They were noticing how I mean it was a big hit that he hit or brought on
Delivered.
or suffered. Um, Marshawn Lloyd.
Oh yeah.
He had a big hit done on to him.
Yep.
And on to him, he said. And then sorry, I don't know why. um, and I thought that was kind of the reason for it, but the fact that he left with a hamstring strain, which has already been a big problem for him to start.
Yep.
Not great. Not great. I think so. It's like you said, it's not a coincidence that they really, it wasn't just feature him, it was feeding him. Like it was very much like,
Yeah. They were letting him eat.
hey, yeah, we're letting you eat. No, like notably again, like with kind of one and a half starters. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like on the offensive line, like that's not
Yeah.
nothing. And also provides context for why a lot of it looked ugly. There was maybe one run that he did that really showed like how explosive he was and like he got through it. It
The one where the
maybe
backer broke into the hole, and he
yes.
juked him and got like I think 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah. And he could have maybe gotten out of that and it broke open in a different way. But obviously, you'll still take what you get. But there was enough to be. I mean, we know what he's capable of. Like we know like why the Packers took him in the third round of last year's draft. Like there are things that are just so at the time when they took him, it's like okay, this is what you'd want in a second running back, someone to spell Josh Jacobs. The running back situation and the conversation around it is getting really muddled because the guy that they took on, day 2 draft pick with great athletic traits, with shifty speed and all this other fun stuff that you glom onto, just has been healthy, and I feel like we'll see how this affects the rest of the camp. I mean, I would kind of assume that he's done until the start of the season, but it just makes things a lot harder to evaluate talent, and then you're whittling down to 53, knowing that is this another situation where he starts on some kind of pup
Yeah.
I season not season ending IR, but like eligible to return IR situation. Like it just sucks that we get this glimmer of hope. We see like a not a cameo, but like reasons to be like, oh, this is intriguing. This is why he's you know there's something there, and then it's like, well, he just can't stay on the field.
Yeah. It's definitely an issue per se because like you mentioned, if you go from having Marshawn Lloyd there and you're worried about his injury concerns, you go from taking like maybe 3 running backs and Emmanuel
I
Wilson,
think you
Marshawn
take
Lloyd,
4.
and Josh Jacobs. You go from taking 3 and being
Oh yeah,
comfortable with
yeah.
that to taking maybe 4, and it's like you included Chris Brooks in there. I don't think they'd ever keep 5, but
No.
like uh Abani Kanda and Amar Johnson are playing well enough to where like if you need somebody, I'm sure one of those guys making the practice squad for sure. And you just wonder like
if not both.
if not both, for the sole purpose of like the room was already a little bit shaky. Like Emmanuel Wilson had a bone bruise. Marshawn Lloyd's hamstring is causing issues again, and he had the groin injury, and he had all these issues to start camp. It just makes team building a lot harder when you have to dedicate more thought to a room you thought would be solidified than
Yeah.
than you had initially planned on.
You have four running backs you possibly carry that really constitutes as like two and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean?
Yeah. Um, Continuing on the running backs, I thought Emmanuel Wilson had just an okay game yesterday. Like I thought he played well enough. He had the one nice catch and run where he really showed off his speed. But I think when it comes down to the nitty gritty and we talk about like roster building, we talk about like who are they going to keep. Like I think they're keeping Josh Jacobs. Obviously, they're keeping Marshawn Lloyd. I think obviously, but
They can't
I,
do anything else with him.
yeah, that it's a lose lose situation right now. Not to say that it couldn't be a win eventually, but as it currently stands with his injury concerns and his availability. But between Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks, like I think it comes down to like pass protection. We know Chris Brooks is a really good uh, pass protector in the backfield, third down back that can pick up a blitz if need be. Emmanuel Wilson got trucked yesterday.
Yeah.
It wasn't good, and that's never been his thing. I think that's kind of like I don't want to say held him back from being like a true number two, but like I think that's a good delineator between him being running back two or three to being running back two. It's just that he has all of the skills with the ball, but they can't stick him when they're on third down and expect him to be able to pick up a blitzer with reliability essentially. And so that's where again this formation of the running back room gets so murky because you have five running backs to choose from, four running backs to choose from. Honestly, like excluding Josh Jacobs, he's running back one. But you have four running backs in Emmanuel Wilson, Marshawn Lloyd, Israel Abanikanda, and Amar Johnson
Yeah.
to figure out three spots with, and each of them sort of has um their they're good in, like they're pros and their cons, right? Emmanuel Wilson has experience, he's fast, and he's like a pretty true north south runner. Marshawn Lloyd, insane like game breaking, big big play breaking ability, and it's
Yeah.
just shifty, gets hurt all the time. Emmanuel Wilson, not exactly good in pass pro. Abanikana has looked good running the ball. He also returns kicks, which is very important. Like we don't know what McCole Hardman's going to be. Savion Williams hasn't been seen in weeks.
Well,
And so,
the third round pick curse. But he,
right,
but I'm already kind of penciling him as like a red shirt guy.
yeah, which is like it's a concussion. You want to be careful with him, especially in training camp. But like,
Yeah.
hopefully he's back soon. And again, this all feels longer than it is because it's training camp and you see these guys every day. He had the concussion 2 weeks ago, and so
Yeah.
like a concussion lasting 2 weeks is regular, even though it's you don't want it to be 2 weeks, but having guys setting out 2 weeks for concussion isn't
Two
exactly
weeks in non football time is perfectly normal. In football, it's
correct.
like, where the hell is he?
Right,
Show me him.
exactly. And so like Abani Kanda has been returning kicks and doing quite good at it. I mean, doing quite well at it, frankly. Like I think he's pretty good at it. And then Amar Johnson, just another guy that shows the ability to have big big plays. He had the 39-yard touchdown last week, and he had a good juke in there to get it. And so there's justification for keeping any of these guys on the roster if they see enough potential in them. I think honestly, like we said, it'll be Brooks. Well, and we forgot about Brooks, but then Brooks, good runner, good in pass pro too. But like, I could see them keeping any of those guys on the roster if they're not impressed with anybody else. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, I do think it's gonna be Lloyd, Wilson, Brooks, but I don't know. Like, the injury concerns make this whole process a lot harder.
Yeah. Matt Steeman, who I still have not figured out how to pronounce his last name, probably. Um, it's only been 4 years that we've been doing this, or four
That's
seasons.
that's right.
Um, he posted during the game, if the Packers only take three running backs, which I expect plays like that are why Brooks may make it over Wilson. This is right after the poor pass pro rep.
Yeah.
Poor pass pro rep.
Let's see.
Say that 5 times fast. Jesus. From Wilson leads to a sack. Jacobs and Lloyd are locks. If you need a pass protecting running back three, Brooks is your guy. Which I said, "Ah!" Like I just threw up seeing that post because it's like this is the Patrick Taylor thing of like we
Yeah.
get it. It's a special teams guy. It's another body. He is just not. He doesn't have pop. He doesn't have flash. I
Chris
get it.
Chris
Like
Brooks.
yeah, Chris Brooks.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it. Like I tried to see it last year. There were some plays that he made last year. I'm not discounting that he is a he could make it as a guy that could be on NFL rosters for 5 years. That's not what I'm trying to denigrate. It's more of like Emmanuel Wilson has flaws. We're not saying he's like this perfect running back or the next great running back before. Oh my God.
You're not saying that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's enough there. Like he's been in the system. This is will be his 3rd year.
Right.
He's been in the system long enough that yes, if you make mistakes, is that cut worthy? Like it's different than talking about McCole Hardman, who you're bringing him in as a specialist. You're bringing him in as like wide receiver depth, and we see him fumble muff punts in the
Yeah.
first preseason game. Like, and he's a veteran.
And
Like
to
that
right. And to be fair, he had a better game yesterday.
he did have a better game yesterday. Not to just be like
Right.
propping up this example and being like, cut him, or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I just like, I just don't see with Chris Brooks as like why I see every other running back have a moment or pop in a different way, and with Chris Brooks is like what you see is what you get. It's not, it's not particularly bad, but it's not even particularly good. It's just like this steady hand that maybe he'll rattle off like a double-digit yard run once out of every 5 times.
Yeah.
Give you some solid pass protection. But realistically, like Josh Jacobs is going to be on the field for probably 85% of the snaps this year, give or
Yep.
take.
Yep.
Is it really? Are we? I don't know. I don't know. I could talk myself dizzy into like why you need someone that's more unheralded for your running back three who knows his role and stuff like that. But it's like there's enough pop with Emmanuel Wilson over 2.5 years, going on 3 seasons worth of why he you need to keep him around. There's a reason why they look better as a running back duo last year
Without
when AJ
AJ
Dillon
Dillon was
went
gone.
down.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know. And not to just use Matt Stevens' tweet of a thing, but like
Yeah. I don't think like it's an entirely off base way of thinking. Like I think that that's probably a conversation being had at Lambeau Field right now. But I also think that if you're carrying Josh Jacobs and Marshawn Lloyd, you have to have a capable running back too. You can't carry 3 running backs and have the throw and beat Chris Brooks because, like you said, Chris Brooks doesn't have the juice that Emmanuel Wilson or another running back on the roster currently has.
yeah,
Like he's just there for pass pro, and he's fine. Like he's had good runs in his career. That's not to say he's a horrible running back. He's not, but he doesn't have like it's basically signaling to the defense, hey, Chris Brooks is in the game. They're going to be passing the ball. And if they're not passing the ball, we don't have to dedicate the resources to it to defend the run. Like we can just rush 4 and drop 7
yep.
kind of thing. Or drop 5 and keep linebackers.
Well, yeah, whatever
You know what I mean?
machination it is. Yeah.
Right. And so, but like you just don't need to dedicate resources to him. And like if Chris Brooks makes you pay and gets a first down on a 3rd and 5 on a run, great.
Yeah.
I don't want to rely on that though.
No. I think it's you're kind of like this is at this point, it's like you're just taking flyers on guys. You're throwing darts at the dartboard, see who sticks with like just talent. Like to, again, Emmanuel Wilson's the perfect example. Like we didn't know anything about him. They pick him up. I think it was like May 2023. It was very similar to like the Abanconda like situation of like he gets kind of shuttled around from Denver's practice squad.
Yep.
Packers pick him up. He shows balls out in 2.5 preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good enough for him to make the roster because they couldn't just put him on the practice squad because someone on their team is going to pick him up.
Yep.
So it's like you can find your Chris Brookses.
Yeah, like there's
You
guys
might
around
not
there.
find an Emmanuel Wilson
Exactly.
for better and for worse.
Right. Uh, Also remembering this tidbit, I think it's time the Packers just burn the number 32 jersey and don't hand it out anymore.
I did have that thought
Yeah, they just have to stop handing it out.
because who was it?
Brandon Jackson
I
is
associate with Travis Jervey during the Super Bowl year,
who?
96.
Who?
Mr. Numac. Mr. Numac.
What was his name?
Travis Jervey.
That sounds like
You
a
don't
a,
know
a,
Travis?
a
I
made up
swear he's
character.
number 32. I'm going to just
It sounds like a made up
confirm
character.
this. It is not.
My generation associates him with 32 with Brandon Jackson.
Travis Jervey did. Why did I go to his Wikipedia? I should have just gone to his. He did wear 32 with the Packers. It is interesting. We should play. And it's not even a game, but we should just like associate, but beyond like
Number
four with Favre
association.
or like yeah,
Yeah.
but like 80. I was just gonna say 84. When I see Cornelius Johnson, it's like, oh, it's very fitting that he's wearing 84 right
Yeah.
after Sterling Sharp makes the Hall of Fame.
Well, 84.
Um,
Well, see, that's the thing. 84 for
who's
you is
your
Sterling
84?
Sharp. My 84 is Javon Walker.
Well, he's the best. I just took the better player historically.
Got it. Got it.
That's what I'm saying. No, Travis Jervey. So he was also a Pro Bowler because he was really good at special teams.
Got it. Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. So, all right. Let's move on. Let's talk the yuckiness that is the the line this game, because boy howdy was it bad. The Packers had, I believe, it was 11 penalties in the first half, or yeah, 11 penalties in the first half of this game.
Correct.
Uh,
105 penalty yards.
yeah, nine of those, nine of those were on offense. They had two defensive holdings, in the first half. One on Haddon, and I think the one on Omar Johnson or Omar Brown.
Omar Brown.
Um, but golly, Anthony Belton looked borderline bad. Like he cannot stop holding, and I think the biggest annoyance for me is that there were so many illegal formation calls. Like the the attention to detail from some of these linemen, particularly like the the first like the high picks, Jordan Morgan, Anthony Belton, etc., is not like, I don't want to say concerning, but it's frustrating because like the illegal formation of the tackle being lined up behind the center like has been a point of emphasis for the refs since last year. Like if you're a lineman, you just need to stop lining up so far back. Like that's all there is to it.
Is that the Jawan Taylor? You know what I'm talking about? It was like the first. It was the opening night.
It
Was
was
it
the
last year?
it was the
Chiefs
uh
Lions game.
yeah, where he was like two
He was
yards behind.
so
Yeah.
yeah. It was like there's a line, and then he's like right here.
Yeah, where he was 2 yards back and just like clearly not in formation. And everyone's like, why are they calling that? Yeah, but that has been a point of emphasis since last year. Um, but it's just like you as it drives me insane. I'm sure it drives Matt LaFleur insane too. As
It showed
evidence by going into
yeah.
halftime, he goes and yells at Anthony Belton, like multiple, like what are you doing? And I think like it's just insane to me that that mistake is still being made at the professional level. And like, if you're a lineman who feels the need that you need to like get that extra step, that's not concerning because like the edge rushers in the NFL are really good. But like, if you're not learning to defend the edge rushers in the NFL at where you need to be, then that signals something like a problem to me. Because
Yeah.
I get trying to get an extra step up. Like having another step back against the edge rusher is very valuable. That's why it's illegal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, practice how you're going to be playing. You shouldn't be practicing and taking reps further back for the sole purpose of trying to defend it because it's going to be a penalty and you're going to cost your team plays, which it did this game. Like, I think it was Will Shepard had an amazing catch
Yes.
called back by a penalty of illegal formation. It's just like, come on, man. And I think that's where the sloppiness is just so frustrating. And I mean, Matt LaFleur said it coming out of halftime. He's like, they can't even do anything and get into rhythm on offense because they've been getting good big chunk plays like 15, 16 yards. And then there's a freaking penalty.
Well, and not even just like the pre-snap penalties. There was a. I'm going through my game notes
Well,
right
Anthony
now.
Belton shoved the guy out of bounds.
Shut the guy out of bounds. Like clear. I mean, the guy was planted. They're both on the
They're both in
sideline.
the
To be
white.
honest. Yeah. Um, and as I forget who was running the ball at the time, it might have been Lloyd. Um, it was like he's already out of bounds too. So
Yeah.
it was just like anything that he could have done to like have as poor of a first half. Like I don't think I've really seen a non-defensive player bring on that many penalties for the Packers in a very long time. Maybe like Earl Dotson way back when, and there were reasons for that because
Yep.
going back into the Packers time machine, Earl Dotson, who I believe had I'm gonna look this up as I say this. He was a lineman for all you youngins out there. I believe he was deaf. And I don't see it on his Wikipedia page, and I just took a swing and a
Hey,
miss there.
welcome to the club.
Yeah, exactly. I thought there was something about
I
like
heard Steve
he
Kime was blind.
deaf, dumb, and blind, but he sure played a mean pinball.
That's funny.
So yeah, but it was just kind of like the the thing about the Packers under Matt LaFleur when they have ever been in like a down, if they have a just a crap first half or a half, they compound mistakes. It
It's
is routine.
it's always penalties.
It's always penalties and offense. I honestly I think I'm gonna be on the tip of my toes here. I'm gonna try to divide as I watch games. This is an offensive penalty and a defensive penalty because it's not as easy to access it after the fact of like they just put it,
Oh,
oh, it's 11
yeah.
penalties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the Packers, like I feel like it's kind of 50-50. Like
Uh
they have a lot for a team that is he's just
not
Matt
this
LaFleur is
game.
a.
Yeah, not this game. But like,
I feel like historically though we talk about the offense kind of like they do things to shoot themselves in the foot,
yeah,
whether it's
the
throwing.
defense does too, for sure.
Yes, yes. But
Um
yeah, it was just crazy to see one person being responsible for nearly half of those penalties.
well, going into it's the second quarter, the beginning of the second quarter. It's like the literally the first drive of the second quarter after
Yep.
the uh Colts field goal to end the first quarter. The first and 10, Anthony Belton has a false start, so they start first and 15. They end up getting a first down, and they end up getting a first down into um, Colts territory. This is the Marshawn Lloyd down the sideline play. Get into Colts territory. First and 10 at the 44. Second and 10. This is the um, unnecessary roughness penalty on Belton. So you go from third and 5 because that was a 5 yard gain by Emmanuel Wilson
Hmm.
to instead of third and 5 at the what would have been 39, it is now third and 20 from your own in your own territory. Like that just kills that drive.
Yeah.
And like not to be doomer, but like you could have killed the drive from the get go because 1st and 15 is not easy.
Yep.
And so it's just stuff like that where it's um like 2nd and 1. It doesn't matter because Emmanuel Wilson fumbled the ball, but Anthony Belton had a face mask penalty on that fumble. Like that doesn't end up it doesn't end up like mattering to them because they got the ball anyways. The Colts did, but
Yeah.
like, Jesus Louise, man, it's just frustrating between like him, um, Belton, Jordan Morgan. I don't think had any penalties this game, which was encouraging. But then Kadeem Telfort had 2 penalties in a drive. He had an illegal formation and then, or it was 2 different drives and a false start. Like a guy that is a quote unquote veteran. He's been here a couple years now. Should know better. Playing for a roster spot. And it's just like I don't know what they do. Like I
Yeah.
don't I don't know how it has come to this per se. Like it's been so bad on these like focus penalties on the line. Both sides of the line, frankly. Like dating back to last year, I think they had a lot of issues where you're like lining up in the neutral zone or something like that. It's just like, golly, I don't know how as a offensive lineman you're not just naturally lining up on the guard's hip. Like that should be like in line with them essentially. Not in front of them, obviously,
Yeah.
but not 3 yards back. The porridge right in the middle, guys. Like, come on,
Goldilocks.
yeah. And then on the other side, like the defensive line side, like lining up in the neutral zone to me again, egregious penalty because look at the freaking ball when you put your hand down.
Yeah.
Like look at the ball.
It's like a
It's like
Black and Decker leveler.
right. Like if you were playing a hurry up offense and it's go go go. Like it's the end of the half, it's the end of the game, like they're going and you're forced to put your hand down and get off the ball because they're trying to go. That I get, right? Like you don't have the time to look at the ball for fear of reacting to your lineman uh, at the snap. But if it's the middle of the first quarter and they're running the play clock down to 1 second and you've had your hand in the ground since 20,
Yeah.
like look down at the ball. Am I looking at it or am I looking ahead of it?
Hmm.
Like it just drives me insane that those penalties exist for this team. So hopefully they can get it ironed out. The good news is that like the starters weren't in this game. Like Anthony or Jordan Morgan was and such. Sean Ryan was in this game, but like there's no penalties on those two that I could see. And so,
No, I don't think so.
but you you're not gonna have. You can knock on wood again. You're not gonna have the luck you did last year, where your same 5 linemen, 5.5 linemen, play all year, right? Like you don't.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have where it's Walker, Banks, Jenkins, Morgan, and Tom across the 5 all year. Like there'll be an injury in there somewhere. Guys will miss time. I don't want guys to miss time right now because the backups have not inspired me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it comes with the territory, right?
Right.
But it's been a lot of woof plays of like
Yeah.
you just your depth really shows when you have to see them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Exactly.
and
Like
going back
Belton
to the
had good.
Eagles game,
Go ahead.
just going back to the Eagles game where like Elton goes down, and you're just like, oh, Travis Glover
Can't
had
hang.
a can't hang. I mean, also an impossible situation against
Right.
the eventual
An
Super.
impossible task when you haven't
Yeah,
played all year. But like, I don't want to be armchair lineman here. But like, stay ready, right?
stay. I know it.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yes, of
you're on the
course.
roster, you should anticipate playing, even if you
Yeah,
haven't all year, which is again an egregious thing to say.
yeah. You
But they're
can't be
pros.
Mr.
At the end of the day, they're pros.
You can't be Mr. Krabsing just like, oh, what?
Exactly,
Like,
which is what he was doing.
yes. So, um, yeah, I just think again we could talk all day about. Oh, they have a really hard decision with having to keep how many linemen, if it's eight, if it's nine, if it's ten,
It
or
can't be 8.
it can't be.
I think
But
it's
what I'm,
probably minimum 10, but that's a discussion for later in the training camp.
but again, the further you go into seeing those linemen past five,
Yeah,
it's the drop off is real.
yeah, it
I
is.
think this year more than any other year, we have really seen how fast the talent drops. You see the talent pool flatten,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah, and like they're young again, which is always we talk about kind of thing, and so maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but I guess on a bright side, Jordan Morgan looked good at left tackle yesterday. Like that
Mm-hmm.
was encouraging, knowing that that's probably the succession plan for Rasheed Walker, unless they see nothing great from Belton or Morgan this year and they decide to somehow keep Rasheed Walker. But I think that's a long shot to happen.
I mean, if I think the succession of Walker playing in Green Bay, I have already seen this kind of thought pop up of they could trade him to a team that needs a lineman, Rasheed Walker, that being, um, and the Packers can recoup picks for him. It You don't need to do that. They've done this. We've done this the last couple of years of like if they have extra linemen, you never know who like you they might get a sixth rounder out of it. I rather have the security of someone who, yeah, he's steady, he's not flashy, he's he's gonna be a walk player in a year. You know what I mean? He's on an expiring deal. Um, I'd rather have that security of someone who knows what he is in a lot of ways. Like this is kind of the anti Chris, or I'm making my anti point to the Chris Brooks situation, but it's just a different scenario of how sure-handed that you need to be at a very premium position on this team.
Yeah,
The blind side for Jordan Love.
has to
So
be.
yeah, you can't just be like, oh, we got to pick for it. It's like, well, if it leads to Jordan Love getting battered and
Getting
bruised
right.
because he has no protection against him, like,
The
was
sixth
it
round
really
pick
that
isn't
worth
worth
it?
it. Yeah.
No, no, it's not. You should feel more confident in the Packers evaluation with their own draft picks enough that they don't need to necessarily do that.
Right.
And they'll get a comp pick for him anyway.
Regardless. Right.
Yeah.
So, keeping with the offense, let's talk quarterbacks briefly. The backup to the backup quarterback battle between Taylor Algersma and Sean Clifford. Um, Call me crazy, but I feel like
Crazy.
thanks. But I feel like the trend is going to be keeping Algersma. I feel like they have known what they have in Sean Clifford, and I would bet I would think they're just like I'm good kind of thing, as opposed
Yeah.
to Taylor Algersma, who, if you aren't aware, 23-year-old rookie, played for um, the Canadian college system, and then was I believe, um, he went, he was drafted 18th overall by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the CFL. I have a buddy who's
Mm-hmm.
a Blue Bombers fan, and
Hmm.
he is like he told me he's like need you guys to give Algrisma a chance, but ultimately cut him so that he can be like the CFL
Go
goat.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because in college, uh, last year he had played in 12 games. This is at Laurier College, Wilfrid Laurier College. 12 games.
It's actually university. Let's make that
My
very clear.
apologies. My apologies. Uh, 12 games, 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Also had 6 rushing touchdowns. So it's a pretty darn good season. Like in his 3 years as a starter, it looks like he had 2,100, 3,400, and 4,000 yards throwing. But again, like 34 and 10 is a pretty decent game or pretty decent season in 12 games. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, maybe a guy that they just throw on the practice squad, or I don't think they'll carry 3 quarterbacks, but they'll like uh throw on the practice squad, and then if
Sean Clifford was on the practice squad that they elevated, I think, for a couple of games last year
when
too.
Malik Willis was playing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think that's the route they're going because I think there clearly is a quarterback yesterday. I had in my notes that he was rifling the ball yesterday. He has some zip behind those throws. And like, will he ever usurp Jordan Love? Of course not. But when Malik Willis's contract runs out at the end of this year and he becomes a free agent and some team takes a swing on him to be a camp QB for a quarterback competition, you're gonna need a backup. And I think
Yeah.
Algerisma has more potential than Sean Clifford right now, even though Sean Clifford scored the game-winning touchdown at the end of the game last night. The game-winning touchdown that was not Jelani Woods, by the way, somehow shockingly. But
Yeah.
like, I am thinking they're going to lean Algerisma over Clifford because they know they have in Clifford. They're not inspired by it, as obviously showcased by Malik Willis beating him out for the backup quarterback position last year, and probably just cut weight with him. Carry Algos around the practice squad, let him develop because I think he has some potential.
Yeah, I think Big Tariff, he's going to be a good what? What?
Big Tariff?
He's tall. He's from Canada.
That's an insane nickname. Moving forward, that is now what we're calling Taylor Algerson's Big Tariff.
Uh, Big Tariff. Um, it's terrible that we have to make the joke, but this is the
Yeah,
life we live.
that's right.
Um, no, I saw it pretty clearly. Like he can make plays with the ball. Like there was a key fourth down conversion that he rifled towards Cornelius Johnson. Um, he just does it in ways that like Sean Clifford, you know, he had a really good preseason a couple years ago. Do you remember the
I
conversation
do
of when
remember
the
the
pack?
conversation.
Yes, exactly. I can never not get that out of my head because well, that's a topic for another day. Anyway, um, I just when Sean Clifford is throwing the ball and successful throwing the ball, it looks the same. It's a lot of play action, kind of dink and dump, systematic kind of death by a thousand cuts way of playing. Big Tariff can just change things up. And I really liked what we saw out there. Like for again, he's kind of like this big his body type. This is not going to be a flattering comparison
Okay,
because it's a big kind. He's not oafish,
spit it out.
but he's like a stiff. He's a stiff white body.
Okay,
Brad Johnson. Do you remember Brad Johnson?
Super
Is
Bowl
that
winning
too old?
quarterback.
He is a Super Bowl.
What?
I know you're not wrong, but it's just like you went to the. I think he might be in the ranks of the modern quarterbacking era.
Yep,
Brad Johnson winning a Super Bowl would be like
probably 25th.
yeah, of this century
That was the
for
point.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. But no, I just thought like his pocket presence was really good. I mean, honestly, I thought a lot of between Willis, Elgersma, and Clifford,
yeah.
everybody looked the part.
Outside of the sacks, I thought the line played pretty well.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry, outside of the penalties is what I meant to say.
yes,
Outside of the
yeah,
penalties, I thought the line played fairly well. Like guys had time to throw.
yeah. I thought pocket presence is there, the arm is there, the reads are there. Like that's more important than anything. Was that he was throwing into tight windows. That fourth down conversion, not just keep using that as an example, but
Yeah.
like that's a
The
big spot.
it was a zip to Cornelius Johnson.
Yeah. And again, another guy who he's been looking good this preseason.
Yep.
Corny. So what?
Don't call him that.
Well, that's I. Do you think Lafleur? Someone's gonna ask about his talent, and he's like, "Yeah, Corny is out there. He's just balling,
They'd
just
probably call him if
cornballing."
if if for some reason they don't want to call him Yukon Cornelius. They probably just call him CJ.
That no way.
They probably just call him CJ.
I'd rather have Corny, corn dog. Let's go corn dog.
I
What's up,
think
corn
he
dog?
swings on somebody if they call him corn dog. You kidding me?
What? It's
If I'm at
it's
practice and someone goes,
August.
"Hey, corn dog," it's on site.
It's on state. It's August. It's state fairs are happening around. Everybody's loving corn dogs. Why didn't you just call them corn dog?
You know why?
Okay. But yeah, I don't think I'd be very shocked if the Packers stick with Clifford over Big Tariff.
Yeah, shocked. Like not like fake shocked. Like I'd be kind of like real shocked.
Yeah, it'd just be like, yeah. There's a reason why they brought him on, and if
Yep.
he's kind of vindicating their thought process,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. So, alrighty, let's move on to the other side of the ball. Move on to the defense. We did 45 minutes on one side of the ball of this game. It's a long time for
Woo!
a preseason game. Um, let's start with Bull Melton briefly. I thought he played really well again. He had a couple of nice pass breakups and just like was sticky in coverage. Like I think the times where he had like guys thrown against him or like catches against him wasn't like egregious where it was like he's getting mossed or anything like that. It was like, yeah, my receiver ran a 6 yard outbreaker to the sideline and I just tackled him for 8 yards. So
Yeah,
like that's just the nature of playing cornerback kind of thing. And so I thought he played well. I think he's becoming more and more of a lock for this roster. Like I would be frankly shocked if he somehow didn't make the roster.
yeah. This process of, in light of the Travis Hunter experiment, of it just felt like it didn't feel like this, but I'm sure there are probably people like they're riding the coattails of this wide receiver, cornerback. Everything's flexible. This conversion for him is working out.
Yeah,
We will also say the context is key. Um, but I was very skeptical. Honestly, I was very skeptical.
oh same.
I go into these
Hugely same.
situations of like we saw it a couple years ago with Tariq Carpenter. It's not flipping, offense defense like Bob Elm is. Like the learning curve is higher there.
Right.
But with Tariq Carpenter, it was going from was it safety to linebacker,
I
right?
think so.
Um, Again, not an easy conversion to be clear,
Nope.
but that didn't lead to anything of like him making the roster.
Right.
Bo Melton is switching positions, switching sides of the ball, doing it against second stringers, even third stringers, looking the part, making plays, um, generating pass breakups. Like it has looked a lot easier than I anticipated seeing. You know, after the last time he played cornerback was in high school.
Yeah.
So
I also think like not that it's a big caveat, but like his brother plays corner. And so I'd imagine in the
yes,
offseason he probably talked with his brother Max. I think he plays for the Cardinals if I'm not mistaken.
correct.
Um and it was like, give me your crash course on how to play corner at the NFL level. And I'm sure I'm I could be wrong, but I'm sure he worked with them just to try and like get some more work ahead of training camp. What he showcased, I think, in OTAs or minicamp that he was going to play corner. And so,
Yeah,
like in that time, or possibly all off season, because I think they talked with him about it like around like early in the off season. So he's probably had some time to study tape and learn technique and whatnot. If he's dedicated to learning the position, I'm sure he's been doing that, and it helps to have a family member at the NFL level do that for you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, moving on. Uh, this wasn't in our notes here, Jordan. But let's talk about the D line a little bit. I not inspired much yesterday.
Did
Like
not pop.
didn't pop. Like the edge rushers didn't get a sack if I'm not mistaken. Like I don't think they. Yeah, no or one sack on Anthony Richardson. That was the who was that? Oh, I forget who it was. Somebody tackled Anthony Richardson like near the goal line. I think it might have been Egbari, but I forget. But other than that, it was like almost like no pressure all day. They like all of the Colts quarterbacks had a lot of time to throw. And I know that it's not the starters, but like Brenton Cox uh Jr. was out there. So was Egbari was out there obviously. I just like I want to see some more pressure from those guys even if they were going against the ones. Like I, this is one of those weird games where your backups are going against your start, like going against starters kind of thing. But that doesn't like totally uh negate the lack of pass rush. And it wasn't an Igbar, it was Desmond Alexander.
Yep. No, I agree. I think it just the line didn't really pop. We should also mention, we probably should have mentioned at the top, but the Packers had in total 29 scratches
Yeah.
for the game. So that is at least your ones on both sides of the ball and seven extra
Yep.
if you want to play that game. But yeah, I just think there wasn't a lot of pressure. Honestly, the first half was very reminiscent of who they played first week. Why am I blanking already?
Last year, the
Last
Eagles.
week.
Oh, the
E-
Jets.
Jets, yes. Um, I felt like the Colts were really breaking down zone. There were a lot of kind of just is. I'm not going to criticize Jeff Halfley of like a very vanilla defensive game plan when it's preseason and you're just evaluating how guys play in
Yeah.
kind of simple situations. But it was just like there were open spots in the middle of the field. The dangerous, like if someone catches within this radius, they are going to catch the ball and then get at least 10 more yards because guys are just spread out and have to converge on where he's getting the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go.
For as much as it was a vanilla game plan, like there wasn't really a whole lot of like excitement coming. There was a couple of edge like blitzes off the edge. I think it was Kalen King had had a pass rush where if he jumps, he stops. Ends up jumping in front of I think it was Ryan Leonard to stop the throw,
Yes.
and then it was like a pitch underneath or something for like an 8 yard gang. Like that was a good blitz by Jeff Halfley, and then Deslin Alexandre's sack came on a stunt. Like that was
Yep.
a good play by him. But like you're right that it wasn't like a whole lot of like mixing and matching for coverages and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
um, it's preseason. What do you do, kind of thing. I just I want there to be. We didn't mention it either. Baron Sorrell goes out with a knee injury, which
On a
is
special teams play.
yeah on a special teams play, not great. So
No.
hopefully he's okay and he can come back some point this season because I don't think we've seen anything. Excuse me. Um, since then, and like obviously the game was like yesterday, and I'm sure they'll just try and get back to Green Bay to assess. But um, he gets rolled up on, and hopefully he's okay because he's been pretty darn good
Hmm.
uh, this season. But
Yeah, you don't want to see a rookie go down when he's already been flashy and it just Willow or not Willows.
who are you talking about?
Just eats away at your depth
Oh
already.
yeah. Matt Schneeman said yesterday that it's TBD on Sorrell's knee injury. They'll take a closer look when they get back to Green Bay. So don't love the vibe of that, but
No.
we'll see. Hopefully it's nothing significant. He can come back at some point this season.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, last talking point, the linebacker room. I think there's going to be a decent battle between Christian Welch and Isaiah Simmons to end camp. Uh, Tyron Hopper played well again yesterday. I thought he flew around, was being seen again, just like he was last week. Um, just always in on tackles. But I think as it stands, they need to see something pretty significant from Isaiah Simmons to keep him on the roster. Because I think, like, personally, that Christian Welch has been playing really well, and he was one of the guys we were surprised got cut last year.
Last year and he got
Yeah, picked
picked
up
up
right
by
away.
Ravens or Denver. It was
Yep,
a weird scenario.
yep. Got picked up right away, and then he's back with the Packers this year, and I think he's been playing well. Like he's a sure tackler, and I didn't see much in coverage yesterday, which is like where Isaiah Simmons' warts have been. He's really bad in coverage, but if he gets downhill, he's really good. Like he had the stop on like the 3 yard line when the running back bounced it outside, and Isaiah Simmons laid the wood on the running back to stop him at like the half-yard line. There was a holding penalty anyways. It didn't matter in the context of like stopping a touchdown, but he stopped a touchdown from occurring like during the play. And so like if he can just refine his coverage skills, which is a lot to ask in 2 weeks, he has a chance to be a pretty darn good NFL player. But he just looks lost at times, man. Like, and it's like not like, oh, I just like didn't take the right guy. It's that I'm doing spins in the middle of the field. Like it just kind of is no good.
No, it's also probably like this is the benefit that we don't have during the season. Um, unless you're listening to the radio, which, Packers have a good radio broadcast.
Yes, they do.
But the Packers TV network between Kevin Harlan and John Kuhn are not taking it easy when people are not doing well. John Kuhn is not. He's very blunt of like,
Yeah,
yeah, if he plays as poor as he did last week, he's not gonna make the team. Like, you know what I mean, it's like
yeah,
that's kind of where they are, and he has a high prestige of being, essentially like a lottery pick a
yep.
couple years ago. But there's just a lot of mess there that you
There is.
can't really undo.
I mean, even yesterday, like during the game, Bull Melton had a um, coverage snap where there was a crosser. There was a guy, a man going in motion in the backfield, and I'm like 99% sure it was Isaiah Simmons running with him on the motion. So they're playing man coverage, and the way the route like formed is that the man that Bull Melton was covering was going to run a out route to the sideline, and then
Okay.
there like the man in motion was going to go downfield. Isaiah Simmons is running, or I think Bull Melton's been run a deep route to clear out for the guy in motion. Yeah, so Bull Melton lets his guy kind of go, thinking that like that just like he's has his eye on the man in motion. The man in motion gets the ball. It's like a 9 yard gain. But like John Kuhn talked about, like, yeah, Bull Mountain is kind of caught in no man's land. I'm like, I don't think that's so much no man's land so as much as it is like Isaiah Simmons was late getting over to his guy, and if he vacates the space, it's a big gain. But if he doesn't go up to cover the man in motion, his guy is wide open down the field. Like,
Mm,
yes, it's no man's land, but I don't think it's no man's land because of Bull Melton. Like, it's just
yeah.
like it's assigning blame to, I think, a situation that was blameless versus just a good play call per se.
Yeah.
But like to your point, yeah, Kevin Harlan and John Kuhn are pretty. Obviously, Kevin Harlan, national game caller, has Green Bay ties, is from the area. John Kuhn, obviously, but yeah, I think they call it pretty down the middle, which is like encouraging as a fan to be like actually get the the vibe of like how these guys are feeling.
Yeah.
Because John Kuhn's at practice every day. Like he's with all the reporters on the sideline. He's essentially
Also, he lived it
also
as a
he lived
player.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he knows
So it's like,
he knows what it takes.
yeah, there's no kind of beating around the bush. So this is what July and August are meant for.
Yep. But yeah, I'll be surprised if it's Isaiah Simmons. I think it's to really show out against the Seahawks next week to make the team, or like an injury or something keeps him in there because I don't think that they'll keep him just for depth because he hasn't really been able to show a lot of good stuff in coverage, which is I kind of think what they need him for.
Hmm.
They have plenty of guys that can run down field and hit. They don't have a lot of guys that can drop into coverage.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Jordan, or should we wrap up this second preseason pod?
Um. Hopefully, Omar Brown is okay.
Yeah,
Like,
literally alive. That would be great.
that was very odd and scary. Leaves the game on a
A
cart
cart.
with an oxygen mask
Yep.
and clearly like a sensor to measure his heart rate.
Yep.
Um,
Chest contusion injury.
I think Matt LaFleur even said after the game that they would leave him in Indianapolis
He's
overnight.
leaving. He's staying in Indy.
So maybe we'll have more today or probably tomorrow. But
Yeah, hopefully.
not good there.
I imagine we'll get a lot of the injury updates tomorrow before practice. We'll hear how Barron Sorrell is doing.
Yeah,
We'll hear how uh, Omar Brown is doing. That kind of thing.
Mark McNamee,
The kicker.
McNamee.
Yep. I mean, doesn't matter. Like he was never beating up Brandon McManus.
No, but he is the replacement of Alex Hale as the international
Yeah.
pathways player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll have a strong hold on that going into this season.
No. No.
Nope, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Dale Whalen is a on the other side of it. He's an Irish beast.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure is. Sure
Malik
is.
Willis. Actually, we didn't really talk about Malik Willis as much, which we might have to because who knows with Jordan Love. Let's hope that he's ready for week 1, but you never know.
Yeah. I thought he
Um,
looked good.
Looked good, made good plays. He just there's also something like it's very similar to last year where they did a lot of things to shield him, and it's very shield is not like it's not a demerit. It's more of like we traded for you 6 days before or a day before roster cut down and 2 weeks before the start of the season.
Yep.
You don't necessarily know our system yet, and we have a really good running back. The way that he can still make big plays without necessarily being like how the offense looks under Jordan Love versus Malik Willis is still it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, it, who knows if it makes him into this like found diamond in the rough kind of thing. But like there's just something there that I like with Willis a lot.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Me too. I think that's why he's not going to be here next year because he's talented
No,
and there'll be a team that doesn't want to spend that can't spend in the draft. They don't have a high enough draft pick to be a part of the QB class next year, and they don't want to spend on a guy.
if we are talking about party with Malik Willis is how tough it will be for the Packers. That means something else will have happened,
Yeah,
and it would be a bigger
a bigger yeah,
conversation.
but that'd be the second topic of a discussion if that's the issue.
Yes, exactly. That is the perfect way to frame that.
So,
But yeah, I think that honestly, that's probably about it that I can think of.
yep, me too. So, all right, folks, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, the final preseason game goes a lot better. They clean up a lot of the sloppiness, and we can talk about a lot of the good, a lot of the good performances next week. And then a week or 2 days after that is roster cut down. So we'll be there for that too. The season's coming
nine
up
days
quick.
away.
Season's coming up quick. So, all right, folks, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out all things GSPN at gspn.info. Check out Ty and Rohan on Eurostep as they go through the Bucks off season. The Brewers have won 14 straight. Go check out Cruising for a Bruising if you want all your
Get your
Brewers
get your George
podcast
Webb
stuff.
burger.
Get your George Webb burger on Wednesday. Um, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to the new Talk of the Tons YouTube. I forgot to plug this last week, so go press the subscribe button now. That's where we will be posting all of the Talk of the Tundra YouTube videos from now on versus the GSPN YouTube, the Eurostep YouTube, because that's Bucks and we are Packers Pod. So separating the two sports. All right, folks. Be back next week for the post game of the Seahawks game, and then back in your pods or your podcast feeds a little bit after that for cut down. So appreciate you listening, and Jordan, thank you.
Thank you.